Greetings once again, everybody, from Tampa Bay. Long time no video, and actually long time no ride. And it hasn't been because of anything wrong, or weather even. It has simply been, I have been too freaking busy doing stuff to get out and ride, even for pleasure, let alone do a video. But one of my major projects is now done. And now I got some time. We're in the middle of January, enjoying a beautiful mid-60s Florida winter night. I forgot where my garage door opener went. And I wanted to just get in some seat time because I'm missing it. Be going over a few different subjects tonight. First of all, I want to tell you about what I've been doing, and I've already made a video about it, and I'll put the link in the description down below here. So for those of you that want to see, it is my gazebo project. Started off with demolition of an existing room on the house and a covered patio, and then I redid everything back there from the slab to the landscaping and put up a gazebo. Just got it done and had the first party with some friends over last night. Turned out absolutely fantastic. Could not be happier with it. The one thing that is coming in the mail is a outdoor propane heater, because there are certainly some nights, you know, I'm a Floridian now, it gets into the 60s, I consider that chilly, and I'm putting on my leather jacket. Those of you in colder climates are shaking your head right now, but hey, that's the way it is. We get thin-blooded down here. I wasn't like that when I moved down. It took a few years to really get acclimated. But seriously, below 70, anyone that's lived here for a while, we get cold. So I've got a heater coming. Funny thing is, I went to Home Depot and Lowe's trying to find one. I just wanted the basic one that clips onto the top of the 20-pound propane tank. They work very well. I've had them before. Years ago when I was doing some work on, I think it was my car, can't remember if it was mine or the wife's, it was one of the Minis, and I was in the winter and working on it in the garage, and I needed some heat, so I got one, and oh man, I mean, they work really, really good, and they're very efficient. So I ordered another one from Amazon, because like I said, I went to Home Depot and Lowe's, neither one of them carried them, because it's already too late in the year. They said that you know, the summer stuff's already coming out, and they said it doesn't make any sense because here we are coming into the coldest part of the year and they're already not stocking. So nobody around here actually carried any. No big deal, but it didn't make it in time for this first party. But I've got another party this coming Saturday, and then one next Saturday after that. I can already tell this is going to be a very, very popular entertainment spot. And actually well, today's Sunday, so another 3 days. On Wednesday night, I have my first live guest in it for my cigar show. So it'll be trying that out for broadcasting. I know it's already going to be awesome because I've already done some nighttime videos in it, and it's just phenomenal. I had the chance, obviously, to build it exactly to the specs I wanted from the ground up, as far as using it for pleasure and business, and, you know, we're using it for videography, and I hit a home run, have to say, because everything I'm doing is just working so well, and I really got good deals. And there's a cop turning around for somebody, probably going to the donut sale. They sit right in here and try to catch speeders coming through, but that guy wasn't speeding. So the gazebo is definitely a home run, and that's what I'll link down there. And I basically got, because it applies more to my cigar channel, that's where I put the video. Little history of where I've been filming, but most of the video is a walkthrough of from the point where I decided to tear down the room. I got a little photo and video slideshow and montage of all the steps that I went through over the past 6 or 7 weeks or so. We came back from Thanksgiving, and that's when it all started. And it just took so long because, number one, there were so many things wrong that simply couldn't be seen until other things were done. The whole project was just a series of events. I really couldn't do much at the same time. And then I was depending on the weather, of course, and I was delayed a couple weeks for rain and stuff like that. But it's done, and I am so happy with it. So that is the main reason, that and a lot of work to do. And the gazebo project has really affected my work schedule. And that's what prompted me to hire a handyman to do a little bit of the work, just because I knew it would knock a week off of my time. It took him 2 days of work, which, like I said, would have been a week of my time because I'm not a professional contractor or anything, and I'm really bad at carpentry, so I didn't even want to try to do the work like the trimming of the doors and windows and putting up new fascia boards and all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, I can't imagine how long that would have taken me. I can't even I can't hammer a nail straight. That's no joke. I bolted the thing down into the concrete and I drilled the holes through, and then I had to tap in these little inserts for the screws, and I screwed 3 out of 12 of them up, just hammering them down straight. You know, for some reason, I am just absolutely horrible with carpentry. Don't know why. I'm fine with anything mechanical, fine with assembly and building and things like that, but when it comes to wood, hammer, nails, cutting, that kind of stuff, forget about it. I will screw it up and cost myself twice as much as just hiring somebody. So I did hire the guy to do that part of the work, and that worked out just fine. Alright, next subject. I've gotten a couple emails, one actually just this afternoon, and that's kind of what prompted this video. I wasn't going to go out tonight, I was going to go out tomorrow, but now I've got some more projects starting tomorrow, so I got some time tonight. Nice signal. I get some questions on how to set up a GoPro, what settings I use, that kind of thing, for people that are wanting to start or coming from a different camera, whether it's motovlogging or just using it for something else, because obviously GoPros are very accessible and great quality and very popular. So there's a lot of them out there. And if you're just starting out, yeah, there's a lot of settings. They're very confusing if you're not coming from a photography or videography background. So I'll just run through the basics of what I do and what I use as far as those settings. Now, they're not set in stone. This is just what I use, and I've experimented with a bunch of them. The resolution I shoot at, obviously if you're watching this on YouTube at full quality, is 1080p, and I run 30 frames a second. Now, you do have the option of running 60 frames a second, and there may or may not be a reason you want to do that. I'll tell you why I don't, and I'll tell you why some people do. The biggest benefit to running 60 frames a second is smoother video. You get twice the information, and especially with fast-moving video, it really makes a big difference to the eye. It looks more like real life than a recording. The problem is the playback. There are very, very few people, relatively speaking, that can view it in 60 frames a second as opposed to 30. YouTube now does support 60 frames a second playback. However, it's only on a desktop and only through the Chrome web browser. So that means no Internet Explorer, no Opera, no Firefox, no YouTube apps, no mobile devices. So a very select percentage of viewers. So there's not really any benefit or need to me going through the hassle of shooting at 60 frames a second to just cater to that very small percentage. And when I say hassle, I simply mean time. Because what it means to you as a filmmaker is double the rendering time, so your computer is sitting there crunching it for twice the amount of time. However long you're doing it now in 30, double it for 60. So if your video takes an hour to render, you can count on it taking 2 hours if you go to 60. and doubling your upload time. So if it takes you 2 hours to upload to YouTube, it'll take 4, because you're literally doubling the information in the video. So that's a big reason to maybe not use 60 frames a second. For those of you that are on, I'll say, normal computers, which are going to be relatively slow compared to those dedicated to video processing. I have a very fast, professional built computer that I did myself, and it's tailored to my work. So it's unusual, and it does videos very, very fast. That's not going to be the case for just about everybody, everybody else. So it's something to consider. Now, if you don't care about that and you set your computer up and you render all night when you go to bed, doesn't matter. Okay, fine. Maybe you're on a really slow internet connection. I know a lot of people that are on a really slow internet connection, and they're already struggling to upload a video over several hours. Well, try doing that over half a day. It's just not feasible for some people. But the effect is very good, and I cannot wait until YouTube rolls that out for every device, because when that happens, I will suck it up and shoot at 60. The other thing is, it takes up twice your card space. So if you're, right now I'm filling up a 16 gig card in about an hour and a half. I would get 45 minutes out of a 16 gig card if I went to 60. So that's another thing to consider. But like I said, the day that they roll that out to every device, or at least the majority of devices that people use, certainly the mobile apps, if they can get that working on the iOS and Android apps, I would do it today, because that would be worth it. The effect is very noticeable. It's like going from a standard TV to HD. I mean, it's that noticeable as far as the clarity of movement. You get a sharper picture because you have a lot less blurring and ghosting of things moving. Like that car that went by there, you could easily make out the grill and everything as it went by instead of just a light blur if it was in 60. So it is worth it when things come together. But anyway, that's why I shoot in 1080 at 30 frames a second. The other question was that I get, what angle do you shoot at? Because the GoPro has 4 different wide angle options. Even though they call them super wide, wide, medium, and narrow, they're all wide angle. They're just varying degrees of wide angle. I've gone back and forth. I started out on super wide. For a while there, I switched to wide just because it took out a little bit of the distortion at the edges of the frame. And then I've gone back to super wide because I just personally prefer the look. It helps out a little bit with the jitteriness, because the wider angle of the frame, the less it's noticeable. And even though it has a little bit more distortion at the edges, the one big thing that you can do to make sure that's not really noticeable is make sure that your camera is as close to perfectly vertical as possible. If you'll notice, my videos have the horizon as near the center as I can get. It's not like I have a level on it or anything, but a lot of people have their camera pointed way down, so you can see the tank, the horizon's up in the frame, or they have it pointed up and the road's at the bottom of the frame and they see a lot of sky. What that's doing, not just giving, in my opinion, a boring view. Who wants to look at a bunch of road or a bunch of sky? But what it does is give you that rectilinear distortion, that fisheye effect towards the edges of the frame, especially at the horizon. But I don't mind it if it's just in the edges of the frame. Looks like either an FJR or a Kawasaki. I couldn't tell there. A little dark. So I do right now that you're watching this video in super wide. But it's personal preference. Feel free to experiment with any of the 4 options. It's just up to you. Now there is something odd about the super wide, and I believe it said it doesn't do 60 frames a second. I might be mistaken with that. There's something weird about it that the other 3 don't share. I just can't remember off the top of my head. It's nothing that I use, that's why I can't remember it. But it's its own setting. Yeah, in fact, I know that's what it is. God, the amount of people that drive with their brights around here is just astounding. drives me crazy. It's as bad as the people that don't have any lights. But this leads into another question is, do I have different settings for day or night? And the answer is no. There is a setting on the GoPro for low light optimization, but all that does is dynamically change your shutter speed. So if you're on, now this applies to the 3 Plus series, the 4s, they're either very similar or the same, I can't remember. I believe they just have one more option, but this still applies. If you turn on the nighttime optimization, what that does is, say you're shooting in narrow, medium, or wide at 60 frames a second. When it goes to nighttime, it'll automatically change it down to 30 frames a second, because what that does is double the amount of light that can come in and make it more sensitive to give you a better nighttime picture. Now, because the super wide is only available in 30, that option is grayed out. So you don't have that option. You're already in the optimized nighttime mode, even in the daytime. All that means is 30 frames a second lock. That's all nighttime optimization means. Let's see, the other settings, I do run ProTune. However, that's not necessary for everybody. What ProTune does is allow you more leeway in post, meaning your video editing program, to do things like color correction, improved contrast. It gives you more dynamic range. Now, it's not a huge difference, all right, first and foremost. I don't mind doing it because it's second nature to me. I do it for all my photography editing, so it's not that big of a deal. But the vast majority of people that are just shooting for a hobby absolutely do not need ProTune on. Not a bit, because you're simply not going to know how to do everything the right way. It's going to take you way too much time, and frankly, you're probably not going to notice a difference, or you might even like the regular mode better anyway. But again, feel free to experiment with either one of those. But I do suggest that unless you're a very technical video editor person, don't turn ProTune on. Just use the standard mode. It's going to give you excellent color, great saturation, nice sharpness and contrast, all baked in, and there's nothing else you have to do with it. Unless you're making movies, you're just not going to make a difference. You're not going to see a difference. But I do run with it on. Like I said, I do my own further editing in post. And there's tons of YouTube videos. You can look up for that. Just go to YouTube and search for GoPro color correction. And you'll see lots of tutorials. You can watch them for hours and figure everything out yourself there. Something I'm doing tonight, which you may or may not have noticed because I don't know how I'm going to edit this in yet. I'm running a new rear camera mount. I got the camera just before the video I did on the first drive-through of the Christmas tree lights, but I didn't know the ins and outs of what's called multicam editing. And the big problem I had was I didn't have any sync point. So what that meant was I had really no easy way of matching up when the camera clips went together. That and the fact that I didn't have both cameras rolling at the same time all the time. So it was a hot mess when I got everything into the computer and tried to do it. Then, God, more brights. Really? Okay, you're just really aimed poorly. Wow. Then I found out that Premiere, which I'm still getting the hang of, I've gotten it 98% down, I'd say, compared to Sony Vegas. It's very powerful, and it does have some cool features specifically for multicam editing. So that's why I'm doing this video tonight, because I need to practice and get down all the steps needed to do that multicam editing. I've watched some tutorials on it. The big problem is the tutorials don't match up with reality. I'm part of Adobe CC, which means I have access to virtually every Adobe program because it's a rental. I pay every month, and that gets me the current versions of everything I want. The problem is, I mean, it's a good problem to have, they update the program so often. They're adding new features, fixing bugs, changing things around, moving buttons, adding more menu features and all that kind of stuff. Their tutorials are out of date. So trying to learn the multicam editing has been a little frustrating because nothing out there, even the official Adobe.com tutorial videos, don't match the current interface. It's at least a version behind. So I've been trying to, you know, muck my way through it, watch what they do to get the gist of what they want me to do, and then I have to figure out how to do it in the current interface. I think I've got it, but I need some source material that's properly shot first, and that's why I did this video. The main important thing is, if you're doing multicam videos, what you want to do is make sure that you have audio on all the cameras that you're using, and make sure that they can all hear at least the same thing at one point. That will give you a sync point, and it will automatically sync all the videos that you drag into Premiere. Automatically. There's no work you have to do, and that's what will fix the problem I was having before. So I should be able to now learn everything with some test material that I'm shooting right now. And it should be pretty cool. From what I can tell, once you get the clips in there, now it kind of looks like they haven't quite polished this whole process yet, because it's kind of hacked together, how you have to do it, how you have to drag some things, and how you have to find things in a menu. It should be just like click a button and brings up an interface, but it's not. But once you get everything rolling, basically it shows you a little thumbnail view of all your clips rolling at once. If you have a fast enough computer, you do need a very powerful computer to play multiple clips at the same time. And then it shows you an output monitor clip of actually what is going to be editing, and then all you have to do is click on the thumbnails to instantly switch while it's playing back. So it makes it extremely easy to pick and choose when you want to switch a scene. You don't have to stop or anything, you just click, this is recording, here comes up the spot you want to switch cameras, and you click it and it changes to that one. That's all you have to do. But getting there is the only tough part. So I'll be playing with that tonight, tomorrow, I don't know, depends on what I feel like doing. I should have checked my tire pressure. It feels a little soft. It's kind of hard to tell. It's been, oh geez, about a month since I filled them up, so they're definitely going to be a little low, just the question of how much. Last time I topped them off, they were about 6-7 pounds low, so that's about the point where I can start to feel it, especially coming to a stop. Can't really tell on the corners. I'm not that much of an expert rider, but that's about my point. Oh, got a couple really cool things coming up that are scheduled. And of course, now that I'm done with my big project, I'll be riding more and do more regular videos, especially now that I can enjoy this beautiful winter weather. But the two things coming up, let's see, the first one is, it's first, man, I'm not sure, I'll have to look at my schedule which is first, but I've got a demo ride scheduled of the Can-Am Spiders, and God, I'm trying to remember the date. I want to say it's like the 28th. I think it's like a Thursday the 28th. I'm doing that, and that's about 45 minutes away, so I'm excited to do that. You know, I always thought that, funny enough, my mom and dad would really love a Can-Am Spider. You know, they're definitely not motorcycle people, but my dad loves getting out. He loved to ride horses. I think he said he's ridden his last one. He's in his 70s, and he's ridden them all over the West, all over the Southwest. But it's kind of wearing on him. I think he told me his last trip was his last one. He went out to Texas. And of course the Can-Am Spider, being a trike, isn't anything special to drive. You don't need any real special skills. Rock stable, a lot of fun, not too expensive, relatively speaking. I just think they'd love that. We go out to Arizona for Thanksgiving every year, and I've always wanted to rent one while we're out there. I could never find one. All I can find are the typical Harley Davidson rentals. So not interested in that. But I've never ridden one. I've sat on them, I've looked at them in the showroom, all that kind of stuff, but I've never ridden one or driven one, I should say. I don't even call trikes riding. Give me a break. If you don't have to balance, you're not riding it. You're just sitting on it. You're along for the ride. It's like the Polaris Slingshot. It's got a freaking steering wheel and pedals. I'm sorry, but legally speaking, motorcycle is bullshit. Describing a motorcycle by the number of tires it has is bullshit. It has a steering wheel, 2 bucket seats, and pedals. It's a freaking 3-wheel car. I don't care what you call it. You drive it. You ride in it. You're in a tub. It is not a motorcycle by any stretch of the imagination. Really kind of pisses me off when people, marketing departments, try to bullshit like that. But yeah, it's not even up to them. It's the government saying, oh, well, it's got less than 4 wheels, so it's not a car, it's a motorcycle. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, doing that. And then there is a big bike show here for 3 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll be going down for Friday. I think it's the 28th, 29th. Can't remember, but I'll be going down for the Friday, the first night. And I'll be able to film it all, even though it's got live music. It's actual bands playing, so I don't have to worry about YouTube's copyright police or anything and, you know, snagging my videos. When I go to events and stuff that are playing music, you know, with a quote-unquote DJ, just set up with speakers playing the radio or playing songs, I can't record those shows because YouTube will snag me. But live music, hey, that should be just fine. They're going to have a whole bunch of bikes there. It's not only a show, there's manufacturers showing up with building competitions. Friday night, they're having an LED competition. And my buddy Dave Blanco, who owns BlancoCigars.com, his bike is being featured because it just got finished by one of the shops down there in the show. Total custom Harley-based bike. And I don't even think he's ridden it yet. The shop has been kind of promoting it. They've literally just finished turning the wrenches on it. So it's going to be premiering at this show, and he's not sure, but I think it'll be in, it should be at least, in the LED show, because they put a full complement of LEDs. I saw some photographs of it, and it looked really sharp. The whole thing is chrome. I mean, chrome spoke wheels, just about every part on it is chrome. The tank is a beautiful, stunning pearl white with his company logos and everything on it. I mean, it's very classic looking. And started off as a Heritage Softail. Looks absolutely nothing like it now. So I'm anxious to see the bike, anxious to see the LED show, what'll be there. I'm sure there'll be some really crazy bikes. And then Saturday and Sunday, number one, I'm pretty busy, but number two, they don't have so much exciting. Saturday, maybe I'll be tempted to go down because they're going to have a bikini competition. But I don't know, we'll see. Cops love to hang out there too. If you couldn't tell. I'm not sure how much of that shows in the video. I see all the reflective decals and everything. But Saturday, yeah, big bikini show. Sunday, I don't think there's too much going on. They're going to have the build-off trophy presentations and stuff like that. But that's not too exciting, so I'm definitely not going to get down for Sunday. But Saturday, I'm having another gazebo party, like I mentioned before, so I can't go down during the night. My party starts at 4. I don't remember what time the bikini party is, or bikini contest is. I think it's early afternoon though, but I really don't think I'm going to go down for that. It's a couple hours round trip to get there, so not really worth it just for that. I'll definitely be there at least a big chunk of the day Friday, so I'll take you through all that. Those are the two cool things I got coming up that are scheduled. I'm sure I'll have more ride videos in before then, like I said, now that I have time. So that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. It is nice to get on the bike here and just ride and chill out. I'm nice and toasty, even though it's 59 degrees. Love this windshield. Tell you what, love this seat. I just love this bike, especially now that it's just customized a little bit just to fit me perfectly. I'm surprised this is all it took, and it's just, And it's also nice to know if I ever, you know, wreck it or sell it or whatever and want to get another one later, I know everything I have to do to get it right back the way I like it, which ain't much. So that's it, guys. I'm almost back home. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the site. I know it's a little slow now because it's winter, and pretty much everybody else that's part of TwoWheelObsession.com is packed it up for the winter, but that's just the way it goes. I'm down here. I'll keep the torch going for y'all. Give me a thumbs up. We'll see you next time.